Hello everyone, and welcome to the behind the scenes for the film Fool Me Twice, a film made for the Aputure Light This Location competition. We are here at the Old County Jail in Johnson County, Illinois, so let's head inside. This is Alexander Gibson, Alexander H. Gibson. He is our cinematographer.
Yeah, you said it correctly.
Okay.
Yes, yeah. Finally.
So this is our set for Fool Me Twice. We're going to start over here kind of with our big 8x frame. We've got an unbleached muslin stretched out over the 8x frame. This stand here is holding up a 4x4 frame, Matthew's silk here, cutting down the light an additional stop or two for our table scene here where we know our actors are going to be.
One good thing about unbleached muslin is that it adds an extra warmth to the scene even though we're already using warm lights.
We got two 1Ks back here kind of punching through. We got a couple of those rigged up back here on Husky stands. They're kind of just giving us a nice big soft source that we're using as room ambience.
Watch your heads over. That's happened dozens and dozens of times. So yeah, when we first introduced the voodoo witch doctor character, he is sitting behind this ladder. We use these these smaller Aputure 198 LEDs. We put it through on the ceiling, shine straight down with two flags to cut off the light, so it's more like a slash coming straight down. So he can lean into the light to reveal his face.
This particular light, we didn't use it, but on these other ones where we're kind of creating light rays, we're using the Roscoe black foil, the black wrap. Black foil is perfect because you can, if you need like a little shaft of light, you can kind of fold it around. It's basically really thick aluminum foil, so it's perfect for all sorts of things. We've got a Matthews 4x4 floppy over here. Obviously our 1Ks are right here behind us. We've got the 8x8 frame and it was giving us way too much light, so we just kind of hung this 4x4 floppy up.
So we have a hazer down here to basically give us all the light shafts that we were aiming for.
Yeah, the haze does several things for us. First of all, it kind of adds that kind of dusty, nasty look to the set, which kind of sells that there's, it's a little bit of dust and grime in the air. Secondly, it gives us those nice light rays, both with the light coming through the doorway and with the little LEDs that we hung from the ceiling. And it also kind of raises the overall ambience in the room because those haze particles, they catch light, and so they'll kind of boost a little bit of that ambience.
We have a lot of candles in these as well, and candles around the set all throughout the cabinet, just so he adds this like atmosphere and detail of the location. They don't really add light value. It's just they're there for the details.
We've got a 1K Mole Richardson back here. Threw some scrims in it here and there.
Yeah, like at the end of the day, we had to put 4 whole scrims in it to really knock the light down. It was just way too overpowering in the background. The main section of the film happens between the two characters right here. We added 2 China balls to help to light this section. It's nice and soft. These are 2 150 watt LED bulbs at 3,000 Kelvin, I think. 2,700 Kelvin.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, the light up top is kind of it's matching the color of everything else. It's that really warm tungsten look, and it's coming from straight down. And of course, once you get the brim of the top hat up there, it's really kind of selling that skull look. We actually on a couple shots added a little bit of negative fill just to kind of help take off some of the ambient light from coming and hitting their face directly. And obviously we've got a lot going on in the set, so we kind of wanted to just help push that a little bit. So we hung this repurposed chandelier, put some candles in it. I think this is actually a 100 watt LED bulb at 2700. It's kind of just pushing the light from the candle in this thing over here into this corner a little bit.
We had a fake window back here, the diffusion basically roll that we have. We have a C-stand back here, we got a C-stand arm coming out, and then we basically rolled it down to soften this light back here, and we put 2 daylight.
They're just 4 bulb little 500 watt fluorescent banks, auras I think is what they're called. This is a fake wall actually that we created and put the window in. We really wanted a window there, so we're like, let's just build one. So we kind of built the wall out a little bit and hung a window in it, and then just put some fake sunlight behind it.
We have a 650 Mole Richardson up here. Our witch doctor character sitting here. Give him a little extra kick on the back for a separation.
We had the 650 on a 1K dimmer, so we kind of played around with the intensity of it.
We used the flag and the cinefoil to really to really hone in the light source on his back. As you can see here, we are actually using the Black Magic Ursa, the 4.6K.
Ursa Mini.
Ursa Mini?
No, it's not 4.6. It's actually just 4K.
Oh, it's the cheapest one.
It's the cheapest one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well,
so
that
the worst one.
The worst one. The one that don't make any more than.
It's not even the Pro. It's just the bland.
It's been discontinued. Then we're using a set of Rokinon lenses. We have a 14, 24, 35, and 85 millimeter. There was one shot. We used a 300 millimeter Canon. So I guess most of them were wider.
Yeah, they were a little
wider
wider
angle shots.
Yeah, the Ursa does have a crop factor on it, which is like I think 1.3. So everything kind of turns into a little bit longer lens anyway. But did we shoot at 200 or 400?
Most of it was 400. We're trying to do 200 at first, but it was not. We just needed that little extra kick.
Yeah, we were trying to do 200. That's 200. It's 1.7, and then I forget what. 400 is 2.8. Yeah, so that's what we were shooting to. Yeah. We were shooting 2.8 and at 400, so that's perfect. Yeah. So we just had a little little monitor here up on a little arm on a little Matthew C stand. This is where I spent most of my time here in the corner. We've got a little chart here, a little IRA chart. The Ursa's false color doesn't really have an onboard. They don't have onboard labels or anything to tell you what you're looking at, so we kind of just cheat a little bit with this little diagram. We use a combination of histogram, false color, light meter, make sure that everything's kind of saying the same thing.
We have a Pro Aim door dolly over here.
Yeah, we threw a tripod. We didn't use the bazooka because it just
it was not low enough.
Yeah, and we actually threw a slider on top of the tripod. And the reason why we didn't just use the slider was because it just really can't handle the weight. We just locked the slider down. We threw a sandbag on one end for a counterweight. We slid the camera out on the other end, put it on the dolly, and then used the dolly to make the motion. When I started imagining this scene in my mind, I thought, we've got all this stuff, we can do this. And so I just started kind of gathering things up from my parents' house, from the antique store. There's just a few things that we purchased, like the raffia grass on the wall. This is a really, really old building. It's owned by my boss. I was like, what are you going to do with this place? He's like, I think we're just going to eventually tear it down. So I was like, mind if I build a set inside of it? He's like, oh yeah, go ahead. So I came in here, I started taking down the drop ceiling panels because I knew we were going to use it. These are just wood pillars that we had sitting around that we just we cut to the right height and put them up and then just screwed things to them. We just indiscriminately screwed things to the wall everywhere. All of this stuff was basically just within a half a mile radius of this building, and we just brought it all together and started putting it on the walls, and this is what we came up with. All right, everybody, thank you for watching the behind the scenes for Fool Me Twice. We hope you enjoy the film.
Thank you.